Have you ever noticed how fast people react when someone says something out loud like, "is definitely going to be easy"? Almost instantly, someone will say, "don't say that." And before you even think about it, you knock on wood. Not because you really believe something bad is about to happen, but because, well, just in case. That's a question you've probably wondered about. Why is that? Why do we knock on wood? Why wood specifically? Why not knock on metal or glass or even your own head? And why do so many people do it automatically? Even people who would swear they aren't superstitious at all. To understand that, we have to go way back to a time when trees weren't just trees. In many ancient cultures, trees were believed to be alive in a very real way. Not just biologically, but spiritually. People believed spirits, gods, or protective forces lived inside trees, especially large, powerful trees. Trees provided shelter, they provided wood, they survived storms, droughts, and time itself. So it made sense to believe they had some kind of power. Knocking on the wood was thought to wake those spirits up or ask them for protection. It wasn't about luck in the way we think of luck today. It was about asking for help or protection from something stronger than yourself. Certain trees were considered especially powerful. Oak trees, in particular, were associated with strength and endurance. They were tall, they lived a long time, and lightning often struck them. That connection to storms and lightning made people believe oak trees had a direct link to the gods. If a tree could survive something as violent as lightning, people believed it could protect them too. So touching or knocking on wood wasn't random, it was symbolic. You were reaching out to something that had already proven its strength. As Christianity spread, many older beliefs didn't disappear. They simply changed form. Wood took on a new meaning. For Christians, wood became symbolic of the cross, and therefore protection, sacrifice, and salvation. Some historians believe that knocking on wood became a quiet way of invoking protection without openly practicing older pagan rituals. The habit survived, even though the explanation changed. Same action, different meaning. Over time, the deeper meaning faded. People stopped thinking about spirits, gods, or religious symbolism, but the behavior stuck. Knocking on wood slowly shifted from a ritual into a habit. Someone says something hopeful, something risky. Sometimes that feels like it might jinx the situation. And suddenly someone knocks. Sometimes without even realizing they did it. There's another layer to this that's easy to miss. In many cultures, it wasn't just bad luck people feared, it was tempting fate by speaking too confidently out loud. Saying things like, "this will never fail," or "nothing bad can happen now," was believed to invite trouble. Knocking on wood became a way of softening those words, almost like saying, "I didn't mean to brag," or "I know anything can happen." Even today, you'll hear people say, "I don't want to jinx it," right before they knock. The action isn't about luck. It's about undoing what was just said. What's really interesting is what people do when there isn't any wood around. Some people knock on their head. Some tap a table even if it's clearly not real wood. Others just say the words, "knock on wood." That tells us something important. At this point, it's no longer about the material, it's about the ritual. The meaning has outlived the object. And this isn't just something people do in one country. Versions of knocking on wood exist all over the world. In some places, people knock under the table. In others, they knock 3 times instead of once. Some say a phrase along with the knock. Different cultures, different gestures, same idea. A quick action meant to protect what was just said from turning against you. Psychologists think habits like knocking on wood give us a sense of control. Life is unpredictable. Outcomes are unpredictable. Knocking on wood is quick, harmless, and familiar. It feels like we're doing something, even if we don't really believe it works. And that small sense of control can be comforting. It's not really about luck, it's about reassurance. What's fascinating is that even people who say they aren't superstitious still knock on wood. They'll laugh while doing it. They'll say, "I don't believe in this, but..." And then they knock anyway. Because habits don't need belief to survive. They just need repetition. We learn them by watching others. And once they're learned, they're hard to unlearn. Habits like knocking on wood survive because they're small and harmless. They don't demand faith. They don't require commitment. They're easy to pass along. So see someone else do it, you copy it, and before long, it feels normal. And even when we understand where it came from, even when we know it's superstition, we still hesitate to skip it, because skipping it feels risky. Today, knocking on wood is almost muscle memory. We don't think about three spirits. We don't think about history. We just do it. A quick tap, a quick pause, and we move on. So why do we knock on wood? It started as a way to ask powerful forces for protection. It evolved through religion, tradition, and habit. And today, it's something we do without thinking. We may not believe it really works, but somehow we're still not willing to skip it, just in case. At some point, knocking on wood stopped being about belief and started being about manners. Saying something too confidentially out loud can make other people uncomfortable. It can sound like bragging or tempting fate or assuming nothing could possibly go wrong. Knocking on wood became a way to soften what was said, almost like adding, "I know better than to assume," without actually saying it. It reassures the people around us more than it reassures ourselves. That's why someone else will sometimes knock for you. They're not protecting your luck, they're smoothing over the moment. It's the small social signal that says, let's not push things. And that's probably why the habit survived so long, because it didn't just feel protective, it felt polite. Why is that? Now you know.